The Russian hinterland, 700 kilometers from the front line. The Engels air base in the Saratov region, from which strategic bombers targeting Ukraine took off. The Ukrainians launched the largest drone attack on Russian territory since the war began. Moscow is not commenting on the losses. In the background, ceasefire negotiations are underway, with talks already continuing to stop attacks on the critical infrastructure. President Donald Trump's talks with Moscow and Kiev offer hope for a major step towards peace.
The leaders agreed Ukraine and America will continue working together to bring about a real end to the war, and that lasting peace under President Trump's leadership can be achieved. President Trump fully briefed President Zelensky on his conversation with Putin and the key issues discussed.
While Washington's assessment of the conversation was enthusiastic, most analysts were waiting for President Zelensky's reception of Donald Trump's strategy. In this regard, there seems to have been a breakthrough. We talked about energy security, energy networks, and other civilian infrastructure. That's why I told President Trump that I think it's important that we prepare a list of facilities, formats that Russian long-range missiles could not hit, because we think these facilities fit the definition of energy and civilian infrastructure. According to White House reports, Trump was expected to propose to Zelensky that the U.S. take over, rebuild and manage the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The Ukrainian president has responded positively to the proposal, except there is one snag. The power plant is currently occupied by Russian forces.
Technical teams will meet in Saudi Arabia in the coming days to discuss broadening the ceasefire to the Black Sea on the way to a full ceasefire. They agreed this could be the first step toward the full end of the war and ensuring security. So let me just remind you here that that is technical teams.
What does this look like in practice? It's a balancing act between the Kremlin and Kiev. The Americans are going from one wall to another.
This morning, shuttle diplomacy is difficult, it's tough, but we are going back and forth at every level, driving both sides towards a ceasefire and driving both sides towards an end to this war.
Interestingly, during the conversation between Presidents Trump and Zelensky, the issue of continued military aid to Kiev came up, and here Trump is not saying no.
One of the things that came up in the call with Zelensky today was a desire for air defense systems for Ukraine. Trump told Zelensky that he would look into it. Zelensky particularly wants Patriot missile systems.
If the Americans really wanted to get involved in rebuilding the energy infrastructure and to enter the Ukrainian market as a stakeholder, then, as was the case with the would-be mineral deal, they would become, in a way, responsible for this area. In this case, it is not so much a truce or ceasefire, but the question of Washington's specific holdings that may be of much greater importance to Moscow.